who is George Soros and Omedier, and why the hell are they interested in my life?
So, first you have to look at where Soros comes from. Omedyer is slightly more complex. Omedyer is Iranian origin, so refugee family, run away from home. Probably feels this need that, to achieve in other places what he could not achieve in Iran, which is see a free Iran as would have been handed over to him by his parents, or I don't know when he left Iran or whatever. Soros is the same thing. Notice both these people are refugees.
Soros is a refugee from?
From Hungary.
From Hungary.
A Hungarian Jew who joined the Nazis, incidentally, pretending to be a Christian. Accompanied the SS, not just the Nazis, the SS, accompanied them in arresting and confiscating other Jewish families and properties. And then, I guess, to wash his own sins, became a ardent lover of freedom, very good investor, knows how to invest. He only invests in if the risk probability is over 98%. And clearly made good investments, and decide to use it for good in educating people in all the former Soviet bloc countries. And at some point, both of these guys turn. And I'll tell you what the turning is. I suspect it has a lot to do with maintaining monopolies. Because in our own lifetime, we have seen, while growing up, I mean, I was already grown up, you must have been growing up, when mobile phones first came into the market, they were huge. They were almost double the size of my battery
I remember.
pack. And you could only do some things in them. You could maximum store 100 numbers. 100 numbers when it first came out was, oh my God, 100 numbers. Okay. And then it became smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we finally transitioned into smartphones. And in our lives, we saw, nobody had heard of a company called Nokia. It became the most globally recognizable brand ever in human history up to that point. And then it went bankrupt and went under.
Yes.
We've seen this. All of us have seen this in our own lifetimes.
Yes.
Omedyer has seen this with eBay. eBay was a legitimate competitor to Amazon.
Right.
Where is eBay today?
I think it's doing in consumer to consumer sales.
But
it's
it's
not
nowhere.
legitimate. It's very scammy.
It's very scammy.
Yeah.
So it's nowhere.
Yes. No, nowhere near Amazon. No.
Nowhere. So, and yet eBay was a legit competitor to Amazon at one point of time.
Even I think precedes Amazon a little bit.
Possibly.
Yes.
Now, in an environment like that, you want to thwart innovation, because innovation will destroy you. It's the same reason, for example, Apple keeps filing all kinds of patent lawsuits against other people, so that they are always at the top of innovation and nobody can catch up to them and things like that.
Right.
They file patents for all the most absurd of things. Your phone looks like my phone. How can your phone look like my phone?
Right.
All kinds of crap like this they put in. There is a wonderful paper by the Reserve Bank of Pennsylvania, which shows you that the Wright brothers, so, aviation was invented simultaneously at two places. People don't realize this. It was Oliver and Wilbur Wright in America, but it was also a Brazilian-French aviator called Roland Garros, after whom the tennis stadium is named, the French Open, in France. And, no, not Roland Garros, Santos Dumont.
Okay.
Roland Garros is the fighter pilot. Santos Dumont is the airport in Sao Paulo or
Check kar le.
Sao Paulo or Rio is named after this guy.
Okay.
And kya hota hai ki Santos Dumont is the guy who invents aviation. So what ends up happening is ki in France they never patented it. In America, because it had a very strong capitalist system, the Wright brothers patented everything to do with aviation. So imagine in 1890 something, when the first flight there happens, right up to the First World War, the Americans enter the First World War without a single functioning fighter aircraft. Why? Because the Wright brothers have destroyed all kinds of innovation because they've patented everything. And they aggressively go after people. The French don't. which is why the French have an extremely developed aviation industry at that point of time. Europe is eons ahead of America in terms of fighter development. This is the same thing we're looking at. So these guys, they want to prevent further growth. And how do you do that? Further innovation. You do that through societal control. In medieval Europe, it was done through blasphemy. Today, it's done through wokeism. Basically, you need a system where people don't know what they will be cancelled or destroyed for. There must always be fear. And in an environment of fear, innovation can't happen. So it's actually a very carefully thought out capitalist enterprise to preserve existent monopolies and prevent new innovators from coming up.
In the cultural space? Because, okay, let me just...
Anywhere, because you can be a scientist and you can say, we could be two scientists working, not that anybody is going to believe that the two of us are scientists, but anyway.
Cheers.
We could be two scientists working on how to convert, grapes into nuclear energy. And I will just say, Prakhar, you dirty brown fag. Or I won't even say that. I'll say, thoda homo lagta hai, thoda kala lagta hai. And this will be interpreted as I've hurt your feelings and my career will be destroyed for it.
Right.
Okay. I will not dream. Imagine the mental stress I'm going through coming to office every day, not knowing who I'm going to piss off.
Right.
And get written up for what.
Right.
I will never even try to hurt somebody's scientific feelings. Because remember, innovation is what? It is the concept of religious blasphemy applied to science.
You mean wokeism is what?
No.
Innovation is the concept of religious blasphemy applied to science.
Yeah.
I see, because you are completely shifting paradigms and that causes a shift in the way you look at science, right? Fair.
So, it prevents you from doing that. Societal fear prevents you from scientific innovation.
Fair.
Achieved. All your investments in monopolies are safe.
So, wait, let me get this straight, because I think you said quite a bit. So, from what I understand is that there is an attempt to create a monopoly, and part of
Not
the way...
an attempt to create a monopoly, an attempt to preserve existing market structures through inciting societal fear.
And so there is a social attitude that has been engineered into us along the lines of, say, wokeism, so that you can probably from the shadows work around and prevent people from innovating, trying new things, making mistakes as they go along, and so on. So it's a phantom fear that has been created by these two individuals, you're saying?
Lots of people. It's not. These two are the most visible ones because they also do political interference.
Okay.
Now, why do they do political interference? Is so that all markets will be pliable to them. They can invest and destroy whenever they need to. Because what you do when you manufacture social strife is you force governments to make mistakes.
Right. You put them under pressure.
Which case, if you are short selling and shit like that,
Brilliant.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, you'll make so much money.
These two are essentially criminals. They're crooks and criminals masquerading as respectable people. I would literally say it is more respectable to go to a whorehouse than it is to work for George Soros or Pierre Omedier.
Okay, let me try and understand this, because...
Not that I'm judging anybody going to a
fuck it.
whorehouse.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's perfectly legit. I mean,
as long as it's
a
legal.
service.
Yeah.
No, I mean, why should we judge any of that? But
Right.
I'm just saying in terms of societal things, if you're going to look down on them, you should be looking down on these two a lot more.
So, Soros and Omedier, Soros being a Hungarian Jew, Omedier coming from Iran, both are refugees, both end up very well placed in the business world.
Let's not call him a Hungarian Jew.
Okay,
Because the bastard was a Nazi.
fair, okay.
He threw his own people to the gas chambers.
Which is, I mean, knowing
So
enough
literally,
Jewish people.
he literally sell his mother to the Nazis in order to make a buck.
Wow. So these two individuals make it huge in the business world. They're investors of sorts. And these two individuals are at the forefront of at least one cultural phantom fear that has been induced to us through this idea of wokeism.
Yes.
And then these two also wield the power to cause political interference to move markets for them to make shit tons of money.
Yes.
This sounds like a movie script. Even to my conspiratorial mind, this sounds like, it's like the Illuminati sort of
But it why does it have to be a movie script? It's very direct. I mean,
Bro, how much money do these guys
people-
need? Aren't they already billionaires?
listen, is there any? Are you happy with the number of subscribers you have?
No.
No, you want more, no? Why?
Always subscribe, huh? Right, yeah, because more is
I
better.
have Twitter followers. Don't I want more?
Yeah, right.
I don't actually, because I like to. I mean, I'm thrilled
But
when
you're
I get
different.
more.
Huh.
But basically, like Twitter is where I go to fart. Like you don't fart at the dinner table. You excuse yourself and go out and fart. That's what I do on Twitter.
Right.
But who says this much is enough? I've never met a millionaire who doesn't want to become a billionaire who doesn't want to become a multi-billionaire, or a multi-billionaire who doesn't want to become a trillionaire.
Right.
It's never happened.
So interesting. I can see that. Somebody pointed out to me that at that level of money, you are so inundated and so insulated by the effect of money, you want more tangible power. And power becomes a source of...
And power is a huge high. The fact that you can change governments, the fact that you can fault a government into making policy mistakes, the fact that you can thwart genuine government policy so that you can make a profit. It becomes a game, you see. You become amoral and insulated to the life consequences to millions of other people. And that is what these two people are.
And how or why are they interested in India at all?
But apparently the son is quite... he's not so taken in with all this activism as the father. But he's also a piece of shit like the father.
Whose son is this? Omedier's or Soros's?
Soros's, Alexander.
But why are they interested in India? Like, what's so fancy about India? Or is this like a...
It's nothing personal.
Uh-huh.
It's just they'll go wherever there's a buck to be made.
Okay, fair. So it's all about making a buck.
And controlling governments.